This is the story of a wicked wizard named Fitcher, and how he used to disguise himself as a poor man with a basket and go begging from house to house to catch beautiful girls. His power was so great that all he had to do was touch someone, and that person could not move away from him and had to do what he wanted. The spell could only be broken by a woman who proved to be obedient to his will and agreed to marry him, because of course then no spell would be needed. One day Fitcher went to the house of a man whom he knew had 3 lovely daughters.
A crust of bread for a poor man.
Out came the oldest daughter with some bread. When Fitcher reached for the bread, he touched the maiden's hand. She was in his power, got into his basket, and he carried her off to the dark, dismal, enchanted part of the forest in which he inhabited. At first, Fitcher treated the maiden kindly. He gave her everything she wanted. This didn't last long. Within a few days, he said,
"My dear, I must go away for a day or 2. You are safe here, and these are the keys to the house. You are free to explore all you like, but do not go into the forbidden room. Wherever you go, you must take this egg with you and be careful with it, for it must return to me exactly as it is in its present form."
The maiden was curious, but she promised to obey the wizard. The maiden began to explore Fitcher's house. She found many treasures in the room she opened, from chests of gold and silver to exotic animals and jars of magic potions. She passed the forbidden room several times, but finally she gave in to her curiosity and opened the door. She entered the room. She gasped and wished that she had never gone into the room. The maiden dropped the egg into the cauldron. Quickly she pulled it out, wiped the blood off, but immediately the blood reappeared. She could not remove the stains. Fitcher returned from his travels.
"Now, where are my keys? Where is the egg?"
"Here they are,"
she said timidly, handing him the keys. When the wizard saw the blood, he knew she had disobeyed him. He dragged her into the room and cut her head off on the block, and then cut her into pieces. He then tossed the pieces into the bloody basin. The following day the wizard set off for the second daughter.
"A crust of bread for a poor man."
The wizard touched the second daughter, just like he touched the sister before. In a flash, he was carrying her off to his house, and it all happened as before. Fitcher set off once again for the youngest sister. This sister was different. She was clever, unlike her other sisters. She was already suspicious of the beggar. Again, it all happened as before. Next thing she knew, she was being carried away to the wizard's house. Just like before, the wizard treated her kindly, but then he told her he must leave for a few days. He gave her the keys and the egg and instructed her as he had the sisters before. The sister put the egg on a pillow to keep it safe from danger. Then, with great care, explored the house. She eventually found herself in the forbidden room. Like her sisters, she went in. When she saw what was in the cauldron, she cried. Keeping her wits about her, she gathered up the body parts of her sisters. She laid the pieces together in their order. When nothing was missing, the pieces magically joined themselves back together. The sisters hid in a small room where the wizard kept his gold. The sisters had devised a plan to get home and to get all the wizard's gold. Fitcher soon returned.
"Where are my keys and my egg?"
She returned them both. The egg was white and unstained.
My dear, it appears you have passed the test. Unlike the others who failed, you shall be my bride.
This did not please the maiden, but she agreed.
You are free to do as you wish.
Before I marry you, you must share your gold with my poor family. I shall pack your basket for you to carry on your back to them. While you are gone, I will get ready for our wedding. Quickly, get into this basket, and on your arrival home, get father and all our cousins to save me.
The girl filled the basket with gold after her sisters had climbed into it. When it was full, she called Fitcher into the room to take the gold away. Fitcher was not pleased to part with his gold, but he knew he had to agree to his new bride's requests.
Go directly to my father's house. Do not stop along the way, not even to rest, because I will be watching you through my little window. If you stop, I will know.
The basket was heavy, and Fitcher soon needed to rest. He stopped and put the basket down, but the eldest sister called out,
Fitcher, didn't I tell you not to rest? I can see you through my little window. Go on your way.
Fitcher continued on with his journey, as he thought that the one yelling to him was his bride-to-be. Finally, on his arrival at the parents' house, he dropped the basket out the front and then rested nearby. The sisters sneaked out of the basket and entered the house to tell their father of what was happening and to gather the cousins. The maiden had arranged a skull that Fitcher, being a wizard, used as an ornament. She decked it with flowers and jewels to look like a living person from a distance. She then poured honey all over herself and rolled in feathers until she was covered enough to pass as a mystical bird. Soon she met Fitcher walking towards the house. Fitcher had many strange animals that lived in and around his house, and he didn't remember them all.
Good day, Fitcher's Bird. You have come from my house, have you not?
Yes, I have.
Ah, then you can tell me, what is my bride doing?
She is ready for the wedding and awaiting your return.
Fitcher thanked the bird and then parted ways. When Fitcher almost arrived home, he saw the decorated skull and assumed it was his bride. He smiled and waved and then went faster towards his house. Meanwhile, the youngest daughter met her father and cousins and advised them to act in great haste. When Fitcher reached the house, he decided to change out of his travel clothes and prepare for the wedding himself. Little did he know that outside the father and the cousins locked the only door to the outside and burned Fitcher's house down with Fitcher inside. Fitcher was no more. The three sisters lived happily ever after and lived in joy, married to their cousins.